The deep space mining colony, Vega 6, had gone silent 3 days ago. No distress signals, no communication failures, just silence. The United Earth Coalition sent a scout ship to investigate, but it too disappeared without a trace. Captain Sarah Mitchell, decorated war veteran and renowned for her unorthodox tactics, was ordered to lead a task force to uncover the truth. To her, the silence was a warning, a prelude to something far more sinister than a simple malfunction. As Sarah's fleet dropped out of warp near Vega 6, the first thing she noticed was the debris field. Twisted metal and shattered hulls drifted through the void, remnants of the mining station and the scout ship. The scanners buzzed with an incessant stream of alerts, picking up anomalies everywhere. There were no signs of life, only the cold remnants of destruction. "Captain, incoming transmission," her communications officer reported. "Unknown origin. It's an automated message." The transmission flickered onto the view screen, revealing a static-ridden hologram of a mangled human face. "This is..." The voice cracked, the distortion almost drowning it out. "Evacuate immediately. Danger." Then it cut to black. Sarah's gut tightened. "Launch recon drones. I want a full sweep of the system," she ordered, "and bring the fleet into a defensive formation." Before the drones could launch, a massive energy spike appeared on the sensors, an approaching object on a direct course towards them. It emerged from behind the gas giant, a colossal ship, more like a fortress than a vessel. It bristled with weapons and gleamed with alien alloys that didn't match anything in the UAC database. "Draken," Sarah whispered. She recognized the ship design from historical records. The Draken had been a fable, a nightmare from the galaxy's past. Long thought extinct or disbanded, the warlike race was known for its ruthlessness and thirst for conquest. The appearance of such a vessel in human space shattered that illusion. The Draken ship did not open communications. Instead, it began charging its main weapon, a gravitational beam capable of tearing ships apart atom by atom. There was no time for diplomacy or questions. Sarah's instincts took over. "Evasive maneuvers. All ships engage at will," she shouted. The UAC ships scattered as the Draken fired, but the gravitational beam sliced through the formation, ripping a destroyer to pieces. Sarah's ship, the Resolute Asterisk, banked hard, narrowly avoiding the beam's pull. Returning fire, the human fleet launched a coordinated assault, but the Draken's shields absorbed most of the hits with ease. As the battle raged, Sarah's tactical officer shouted, "Captain, scans are picking up some kind of energy source within the debris field. It's not natural." "What kind of energy source?" Sarah asked. "Unknown, ma'am, but it's massive, like nothing we've ever seen." The Draken weren't here by coincidence, they were searching for something. Whatever was hidden in the void, Sarah realized, was the real threat. It was the spark that had ignited this war, and if she didn't uncover its secrets quickly, it might be the flame that consumed the galaxy. The UAC's initial response to the Draken threat was swift but disorganized. As fear rippled through human space, Captain Sarah Mitchell found herself summoned to a classified briefing on Elysium Station, a political and military hub orbiting the largest of Earth's colonies. The heads of the UAC's Defense Council were grim-faced, their voices laden with tension. "Captain Mitchell," began Admiral Lawson, a grizzled veteran with a reputation for bluntness, "your report on the Draken incursion has caused quite a stir." He tapped a holographic screen, displaying the colossal Draken warship and the mysterious energy readings from the Vega 6 debris field. The Draken were supposed to be extinct, or so our intelligence has claimed for decades. Now they're back, and they're after something that could give them a significant tactical advantage. We need to know what it is. The Council revealed a plan for a diplomatic mission to the Valorians, an ancient and technologically advanced species known for their strict non-interference stance. Sarah's mission was to secure their aid, or at the very least, their technology. As she prepared to depart, a whispered rumor reached her ears. Not everyone within the UAC wanted the Valorians involved. Sarah's suspicions deepened during the journey. Unexplained malfunctions, plate asterisk, the Resolute asterisk systems, causing delays that nearly forced her to miss the scheduled rendezvous. When she arrived at the Valorian embassy ship, the reception was unexpectedly cold. Valorian emissary Loreth, a towering figure draped in shimmering silver robes, greeted Sarah with an uncharacteristically harsh tone. "Captain Mitchell, we have reason to believe that certain factions within your coalition are hiding the truth about this conflict. Reports of covert negotiations between your government and the Draken have reached us." Sarah's pulse quickened. "That's impossible. The Draken opened fire on our ships without provocation. There's no negotiation with them." "Perhaps not by you," Loreth replied, his alien eyes narrowing, "but there are elements within your leadership who are desperate. We have intercepted communications suggesting that a faction seeks to appease the Draken in exchange for immunity." Sarah's expression hardened. A betrayal from within the UEC itself was the last thing she expected. If true, it would mean that the Draken were not acting entirely on their own, but with inside information that could doom entire human colonies. The situation escalated when Sarah received a coded message from Dr. Alina Rios, a top UEC scientist who had gone missing shortly before Vega 6 was destroyed. The transmission was brief and garbled, but the message was clear: "They're using me. The artifact isn't what they claim. Do not trust Lawson." Before she could process the implications, a Valorian warship suddenly intercepted the Resolute's path, blocking its return route. At the same moment, her tactical officer reported that UEC ships had jumped into the system, led by Admiral Lawson himself, their weapons armed and targeting the Resolute . Trapped between hostile UEC forces and the suspicious Valorians, Sarah realized the betrayal went deeper than she thought. The battle lines weren't just drawn between humanity and the Draken. There were enemies hidden among the stars, even within the ranks of the people she'd sworn to protect. The war was about more than survival. It was about unraveling a conspiracy that stretched across light years. The sudden appearance of Admiral Lawson's fleet left Sarah with no time to think. As the Valorian warship maintained its blockade, the Resolute alarms blared, a stark warning that the UEC ships had locked on with hostile intent. It was now clear Lawson wasn't here to talk. He was here to silence her. "Evasive maneuvers," Sarah commanded. "Prepare for emergency warp." She wasn't about to go down without a fight. But with her own people turning against her, the situation had gone from dire to impossible. Her only hope was to find a way out and get to the truth before it was too late. The ship lurched forward just as Lawson's fleet opened fire. The Resolute darted and rolled, narrowly dodging plasma bolts, but the Valorian ship didn't engage. Instead, it transmitted a message directly to Sarah's personal comm channel. "You're being targeted by your own. We will allow you to escape, but know this: the trust between our peoples is broken." The transmission cut out, and in the same instant, the Valorian vessel powered down its weapons, retreating into deep space. The Resolute jumped to warp, barely escaping the barrage. When the ship emerged on the edge of the Hadron Expanse, a lawless region at the galaxy's fringe, Sarah knew her situation had changed drastically. She was now a fugitive, hunted by her own military. There would be no help from the UEC, and without the Valorians' support, their tenuous alliance was shattered. But there was one lead left: Dr. Alina Rios, the scientist who had warned her about the artifact. As Sarah and her crew navigated the Expanse's uncharted space, they intercepted another transmission from Dr. Rios, coming from a remote research outpost hidden deep within a gas nebula. Sarah initiated a daring infiltration, bringing a small team to the station's surface, while the resolute Asterisk, stayed on high alert. Inside the outpost, the scene was chaos. Security bots lay deactivated, and signs of a struggle marked the corridors. The deeper they ventured, the more Sarah saw evidence of a cover-up. Files erased, research notes burned. It wasn't until they reached the main lab that they found Dr. Rios, huddled behind a stack of damaged equipment, clutching a datapad. "Sarah, thank God," Rios gasped, her voice trembling. "They didn't know I sent the message. I've been keeping the artifact research hidden, but Lawson, he's working with the Draken to harness its power. It's not just a key, it's a blueprint. A map to an ancient Draken weapon that can warp reality itself." Before Sarah could process the revelation, the outpost power flickered, and the unmistakable hum of warp engines echoed overhead. "We've been tracked," Rios whispered. "Lawson's forces are here." In a frantic escape, Sarah and her team fought their way back to Asterisk, the resolute Asterisk barely managing to lift off as UEC assault ships closed in. But the mission had not been in vain. The data Rios had salvaged exposed the real reason for the Draken's return and the UEC's betrayal. A race against time to secure a weapon that could fracture the galaxy itself. As the resolute Asterisk vanished into the expanse's swirling mists, Sarah knew the alliances she once relied on were shattered. To stop the looming catastrophe, she would have to forge new bonds, even if it meant partnering with old enemies or turning to the Draken for answers. The narrow escape from the research outpost had left Sarah shaken, but the urgency of their situation fueled her determination. With the revelations about the Draken weapon fresh in her mind, she convened her crew in the briefing room aboard the resolute Asterisk. The atmosphere was tense, a palpable mix of fear and uncertainty as they waited for her to speak. "We have two choices," Sarah began, pacing the room. "We can run and hide, but that won't save humanity. Or we can find a way to stop Lawson and the Draken by any means necessary." Her first officer, Lieutenant Avon Grant, raised an eyebrow. "And you're suggesting we ally ourselves with the Draken, after everything we've seen?" "Yes," Sarah replied, her voice firm. "They're not a monolithic enemy. We learned that from Carrick. If we can convince him that the Draken's true enemy is the Zorak, maybe we can find common ground." The crew exchanged glances, skepticism mingling with hope. The stakes were rising, and the lines between friend and foe had blurred. With their course set, they plotted a trajectory toward a known Draken outpost on the fringes of the Hadron Expanse. A risky move, but one that might just work. As the resolute Asterisk entered the Draken outpost, a fortress-like structure loomed against the swirling colors of the nebula. The ship's systems pinged warnings of weapon locks, but Sarah held her breath and pushed through. The Draken guards, clad in dark armor, surrounded them as they landed, weapons drawn, but Carrick awaited them at the entrance. "Captain Mitchell," he greeted, his voice a low growl. "You've come to surrender or to die." "I'm here to talk," Sarah said, matching his intensity. "There's a greater threat than you realize, the Zorak. Lawson is working with those who would unleash it upon the galaxy. The Draken must stand with us if we are to fight back." Carrick's expression shifted. Intrigue momentarily eclipsed hostility. "You believe that the UEC and the Draken can unite? After centuries of bloodshed?" "Only if we want to survive," she replied. "The Zorak isn't just a weapon. It's a force that could annihilate us all, and Lawson seeks it. We can't let him succeed." After a long pause, Carrick nodded slowly. "Very well, I will hear your proposal, but I warn you, betrayal runs deep in both our cultures. Prove your loyalty." With Carrick's reluctant support, Sarah and her crew worked to form a fragile alliance. The Draken brought their advanced weaponry, while Sarah's team shared intelligence on Lawson's movements. But trust was a rare commodity. Both sides remained wary of hidden agendas. As they pieced together a plan, The Uneasy Alliance based its first test when an incoming fleet of UEC ships, led by Admiral Lawson, arrived to reclaim control of the outpost. They had tracked Asterisk, the resolute Asterisk, and now they were intent on annihilating it. Battle stations. Sarah shouted as alarms blared throughout the ship. The crew sprang into action, manning their stations, while Carrick ordered his Draken warriors to prepare for combat. The battle erupted in the chaotic expanse, laser fire streaking through the nebula, illuminating the dark void. The Draken, driven by a mix of desperation and fury, engaged the UAC fleet with a ferocity that caught Sarah off guard. She found herself leading the charge alongside Carrick, feeling the weight of their alliance pressed against her. In the heat of battle, Sarah realized that despite their differences, they shared a common enemy. As Asterisk, the resolute Asterisk unleashed a volley of firepower. She couldn't help but feel a spark of hope, an ember of unity born from chaos. If they could survive this fight, perhaps there was a chance to not only save their own worlds, but to forge a future where both humanity and the Draken could stand together against a far more significant threat. But as she fought, an uneasy thought lingered in the back of her mind. How long could they trust each other when the specter of betrayal loomed so close? The battle raged in the Hadron Expanse, ships exchanging fire against the backdrop of swirling cosmic gas. The uneasy alliance between Sarah's crew and the Draken was put to the test as they fought back against Lawson's fleet. Each blast of energy illuminated the dark void, revealing the fierce determination of both sides. For Sarah, the fight was no longer just about survival, it was about forging a bond against a common threat that sought to destroy them all. "Target their engines," Sarah ordered, her voice cutting through the chaos of the bridge. "If we disable Lawson's ships, we can buy ourselves time to regroup and come up with a plan." The Asterisk resolute Asterisk banked sharply, dodging a volley of plasma bolts while returning fire. The energy beam from a Draken warship nearby seared through the enemy ranks, scattering UAC ships like leaves in a storm. Sarah felt a surge of adrenaline. They were holding their ground. As the battle unfolded, a message came through from Carrick. "We cannot hold them forever, Captain. Their numbers are overwhelming, and our resources dwindle. We must retreat to regroup." "Not yet," Sarah replied, scanning the chaos unfolding on the view screen. "We need to gather more intel about Lawson's forces before we make any moves. We have to find a way to locate the artifact before it's too late." Suddenly, a transmission broke through the battle static, a familiar voice, laced with urgency. "Sarah, it's Dr. Rios. I'm broadcasting from a hidden location. I have new intel about the artifact and its true location." "Dr. Rios," Sarah exclaimed, her heart racing. "Where are you?" "I'm on a station near the Pulsar Abyss, a dead zone in the Hadron Expanse," Rios said, her voice crackling. "The artifact is there, hidden within the remnants of an ancient Draken structure. You must get there before Lawson does." Before Sarah could respond, an explosion rocked the Asterisk resolute Asterisk, knocking everyone off balance. "Captain," Aiden shouted, struggling to regain control. "We're taking heavy fire. Lawson's ships are closing in." "Set a course for the Pulsar Abyss," Sarah ordered. "We can't let Lawson get to that artifact. It's our only chance to understand how to contain the Zorak." With their course plotted, the Asterisk resolute Asterisk shot through the chaos, dodging incoming fire as they raced toward the Pulsar Abyss. The darkness of the dead zone loomed ahead, a swirling vortex of dangerous energy. The battle behind them faded as they entered the nebula's depths, the stars swallowed by an unsettling darkness. As they approached the ancient Draken structure, the atmosphere shifted. Sarah could feel the weight of history pressing down, a tangible reminder of the conflict that had shaped the galaxy. "Hold steady, everyone. We need to make this count," she said, her voice steady. "Captain, the structure is heavily shielded. Aiden reported, his eyes focused on the scans. It's designed to prevent unauthorized access. Then we'll just have to find a way to bypass those defenses, Sarah replied, her resolve hardening. We have to get inside. As they maneuvered closer, the Resolute was suddenly illuminated by blinding beams of energy. Lawson's ships had followed them into the abyss. They're right on our tail, Aiden yelled. We can't take much more damage. Prepare to breach the structure's shields. We'll need to make this quick, Sarah commanded, adrenaline surging through her veins. With a precise strike, they unleashed an experimental EMP pulse that temporarily disabled the shields. The Resolute surged forward, plunging into the dark maw of the ancient structure just as Lawson's ships opened fire behind them. Inside, the air crackled with energy, and the walls pulsed with a strange luminescence. The tension among the crew was palpable as they moved deeper into the structure, searching for the artifact that could hold the key to stopping Lawson and the impending Zorak threat. With every step, Sarah felt the weight of their mission. They were no longer just fighting for survival, they were racing against time to unlock a power that could either save the galaxy or doom it to destruction. In this abyss, alliances had been forged, but trust remained fragile. As shadows loomed in the distance, Sarah steeled herself for whatever awaited them within the heart of the Draken structure. Inside the ancient Draken structure, the air hummed with a strange energy, reverberating off the luminescent walls like whispers from the past. Sarah and her crew moved cautiously through the dimly lit corridors, their weapons ready. Every step felt heavier, laden with the weight of their mission and the uncertainty of what lay ahead. Captain, the readings are off the charts, Aiden said, glancing at his scanner. Whatever power source is at the center of this structure, it's unlike anything we've encountered before. Keep your eyes peeled, Sarah replied, her instincts heightened. We don't know what kind of defenses they might have left. They reached a massive chamber at the heart of the structure, the walls adorned with ancient Draken runes. In the center, on a pedestal glowing with an ethereal light, rested the artifact, a crystalline orb pulsing with energy. It was beautiful and terrifying, radiating a power that felt almost alive. As they approached, a voice echoed through the chamber, resonating with authority and dread. You dare disturb the remnants of the Draken legacy. From the shadows emerged a figure clad in dark armor, his presence imposing. Carrick stepped forward, his face a mask of determination and uncertainty. We are not your enemies, Captain Mitchell. We seek to end this conflict. Before Sarah could respond, Lawson's fleet burst into the chamber, weapons drawn. The sound of ships docking reverberated through the hall, and Lawson stepped out, a smirk on his face. You think you can just take this power? You don't understand its true potential. Neither do you, Sarah shot back, her heart racing. This isn't about power, it's about survival. The Zorak threat is real, and you're blind to it. Silence. Lawson bellowed, his voice echoing through the chamber. I will harness this power, and the galaxy will bow to the UAC. Carrick turned to Sarah, the weight of their alliance hanging in the air. If we allow him to take the artifact, it will bring destruction upon us all. In a flash of intuition, Sarah realized that the artifact's power wasn't merely a weapon. It was a key to understanding the Zorak and their destructive force. We can't let Lawson access it, she shouted. We have to protect it, even if it means destroying it. Aiden stepped forward, eyes wide. Captain, we could overload the power core, causing a chain reaction. It might destroy the artifact, but prevent Lawson from using it. Carrick nodded in agreement. If we work together, we can contain the explosion, but we must act quickly. As Lawson's forces advanced, Sarah shouted, now! They began working in unison, combining the technology of the UEC and the ancient knowledge of the Draken. Aiden initiated the overload sequence while Carrick's warriors held off Lawson's men. In the chaos, Beams of energy lit up the chamber, and the air crackled with tension. Sarah could feel the artifact's power intensifying as they rushed to complete the process. "We're running out of time," she yelled. The energy surged around them, illuminating the chamber in blinding light. Lawson, realizing he was losing control, shouted orders to his men, but it was too late. The chamber shook violently as the power core reached its breaking point. With a final push, Sarah activated the sequence, and the orb exploded into a brilliant cascade of light, a shockwave radiating outward. The chamber imploded in a flash of energy, a blinding burst that consumed everything in its path, leaving only a vacuum behind. As Sarah regained consciousness, she found herself outside the structure, lying on the ground amidst the debris. The stars twinkled overhead, and the night was eerily calm. The artifact was gone, but so was the immediate threat. Carrick stood nearby, his expression solemn but resolute. "We may have lost the artifact, but we have a chance to forge a new path." Sarah looked around at the remnants of the battle, the surviving members of her crew and the Draken warriors standing together. "We must rebuild and unite against the Zorak. This battle may be over, but the war for our future has just begun." As dawn broke over the horizon of the Hadron Expanse, a new sense of purpose filled the air. They were fractured yet united, enemies turned allies, ready to face the challenges ahead. Together, they would navigate the complexities of their fractured alliances and prepare for the unknown threat that loomed on the horizon, forging a new dawn for the galaxy.